right now. Checking the lights. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Oh, there we go.
Say hi, Winston.
Winston is here.
He is here.
Our lovely pupperdoodle.
We are back for our weekly Outlander discussion.
This is Perfectly Serious Productions. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm KATEY.
And yes, we are back for our season 4, episode 7 on the 7th week of it. Down the rabbit hole. Yeah, halfway through. No, more than halfway through.
I think there's going to be 13 episodes.
Oh, 13 episodes. We're like a little over halfway through. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of stuff goes down already.
Yeah, this episode, I feel like the most stuff went down out of like the whole season. This is probably my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah. Well, just because this is what I've been waiting for this entire season.
Yeah, they've been building up for this for so long. You're just like, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? It finally happened.
Brianna and Roger both go back in time.
Back in time. Roger shaved his beard.
And he's super hot now.
Yeah, I mean, he was before, but now I like him. I like the clean-shaven Roger look. He is the new Jamie.
Sorry, super Jamie fans, but
Jamie and Claire were not in this episode at all.
Yeah.
Which was actually kind of nice.
It was. It was nice that we got to focus on just one couple.
Yeah, and I really like the young, it's like redoing Jamie and Claire's story in a way.
Yeah.
And I like that. And that's what I missed from Outlander, because now they're together and everything's fine and their problems aren't as big as they used to be. I missed the higher stakes. So this really felt like the earlier seasons of Outlander. Yeah,
and what's funny about it is that they're literally dealing with the same people and the same problems that Jamie and Claire already went through.
I know. They're they're going through, it's like a flashback but with different actors. It's kind of cool. And they both are really good actors. So they do carry the episode and good job to them.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start at the beginning.
Well, what were you saying about what you liked about this episode was that
well, I think I mentioned that I really liked that we're focusing just on
we're not
Brianna and Roger.
Something about time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not jumping around in time quite as much. We're pretty much staying in that same time. You're just seeing flashbacks for Brianna. But other than that, it's not like a lot of the other episodes. It could get a little confusing not knowing which time period we're in or who's Yeah,
I like that too. It was pretty much just really focused on the characters and not the time jumps.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, that's fine. So we're starting right at the beginning. We see Brianna she's gone through the stones and she's just wandering through this snow-covered
looks
Scotland.
Like Claire.
Yeah.
With her hair up and the little curlies, she looks like Claire going through those stones. So that was kind of cool.
It was really cute.
Following her mother's footsteps.
Yeah, pretty much. And kind of doing, although when her mom first went through, she did kind of, meet Jack Randall and meet some people pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of the same feeling of lost in a different place that you've never been. You don't really know where you're going. She does have a map with her.
But no compass. I was kind of like, girl.
Yeah.
How are you going to know which way you're going? You're going to look at the mountain ranges and try to identify them? You should have brought a compass and maybe a first aid kit.
Right, because I get the sense that she didn't really study a lot of, how to read maps.
I mean, they didn't show us her studying at all. So as far as we know, she didn't. But she did know, some of the landmarks and, she knows some of the phrases. I'm surprised she didn't bring money with her.
Yeah, that was a little. I feel like she didn't quite prepare that well.
I don't feel like she did. I feel like Roger really prepared. And she was just kind of cool, it's all going to work out.
Yeah. Which is what made me so mad is that she she didn't even think to tell Roger beforehand, even ask him if he would go with her or just let him know, hey, I'm going to be going back in time. Do you have any tips?
I probably would have asked him. I mean, maybe she felt like she needed to do this journey alone.
Yeah, but I don't know, that whole opening when she's just she sprains her ankle and she's falling down.
I was so mad about that.
Yeah, I was just mad at her because I'm you should not have come alone.
I was so mad when she's hurt her ankle. It's just first of all, how what did you even trip on? And second of all, why didn't you girl?
Yeah.
You're out in the there's no one for miles. You're by yourself. You didn't prepare for this. You could die. You could die to the elements. Literally a sprained ankle could get that could kill you back in that time.
Right.
So I was very kind of disappointed in her.
And then you see her get taken in by the last person that she should ever get taken in by in Scotland.
That was not good.
Leary.
It's not good.
I remember just seeing Leary's face and just being like, oh no, this is not going to end well.
She should be more cautious with who she tells what her last name is. And like, if she's throwing around the name Randall, she should be careful with that. Like, I know she doesn't know the history, but like,
she should have learned
if I went back in time in Scotland, like my ancestors are from Scotland. And if I went back in time, I wouldn't be like, where's the Halliburton clan? Like, point me in the right direction. I don't know what kind of feuds they had going on. I don't know what kind of like bad blood or like, first of all, like, how are you going to say who you're related to? If they're like, oh, how, like, who's your father? Who's your mother? And it's like, Claire and Jamie. Yes, they're here. But like, you don't know if they're using different names. I don't know. I just feel like she was way too trusting.
Yeah, especially because my thought at first was like, maybe she doesn't even know that Leary was that her mom had this history with her.
Yeah.
But then she kind of mentions that after Leary confronts her and says like, your mom was a witch and, you're probably a witch just like her and stuff. And she's like, whoa. You were the one who, tried to get my mom killed. So she knows that story.
She knew it.
So like, why wouldn't she be more cautious and like ask Leary who she was?
I would definitely be asking more information from other people than giving out information about myself. So hopefully she learns her lesson from this, because holy crap, if it wasn't for that little daughter, she would be dead probably.
Probably.
But yeah, Roger also goes back and he is more prepared. And it's so cool seeing him back in that time, especially like with his accent and everything. Like he fits right in. Like Brianna stands out like a sore thumb. Like she has this weird accent no one's heard of. She's like singing San Francisco. Like,
yeah, I don't know why she thought that was a good idea.
And then she's just like telling people like, oh, I don't know if I should tell you this, but I'm from, basically like giving away everything. Like people, like you shouldn't, people.
Yeah, I know. She
that people believed in like dark magic and witches. I would just not be spouting around that I was like from the future or any of that stuff.
Yeah, because she knew about Galus and that whole thing, and Galus going back and being this like crazy who ended up being tried as a witch. And
yeah, it's not good.
So I don't know why she wasn't a little more.
You don't know the rules of the lay of the land. You don't know the rules from that time. I would have researched the heck out of it before going back.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, she makes a fire in a cave and it's PB&J.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that opening scene and right after the beginning credits song, and they show her like making a PB&J, and I remember just watching that going like, that's a little, who's making that and for who and like what is this for? And then you see her later in the cave eating it.
Oh my god.
In a lot of ways I feel like that would be me. There's like, that's the easiest thing, it'll keep for a while.
Yes, I mean.
But it's just really
I would have brought in like canned food. Like, you don't know how long you're going to be at it. But that's like a whole, I mean, it really has nothing to do with the episode, but it's just nitpicking.
I know, but it also just kind of shows in a way how childish she is.
She's very childish. And like, that's one of the things I like about her character is that she's very emotional and like, she goes with her emotions, whatever they are in the moment. And sometimes that can bite her in the butt later, but she is very true to how she's feeling.
Yeah.
Which we see with her father a lot.
Yeah.
So we're seeing flashbacks of her with her father. Like she's thinking about him a lot while she's doing this. And like when she was a little girl, she has a flashback of him just like waking her up and carrying her up from the car. And it's just very sweet, like moments.
And by her father, we mean Frank. Not
Frank, her like known father, her adopted father. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then I thought it was very funny when you first see Leary that she's like super nice to Claire.
I know.
To Brianna.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, that's interesting because she always, and then as you see their conversations and everything unfold, you realize that she actually is a nice person.
Yeah.
In general, but she just has this like weird obsession with like hating Claire and just is still, years later convinced that Claire stole Jamie away from her.
And they're like out to get her and they're trying to like not pay her what they owe and
right. Like, she still seems to have a relationship with Jamie's family. Like with Ian, he still comes and, is telling her, yeah, like I don't have any money from your husband or your previous husband. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, Leary is a very interesting character in that I feel like that might be a common thing for, I don't really know, but I feel like for people in small towns and villages like that to generally be very welcoming to people but to also, believe in a lot of supernatural stuff.
Yeah. So like the biggest mistake I think that Brianna made in this episode was telling her about the fire that is going to happen. She's a fortune teller. She's like, I can't tell you how I know this, but there's going to be a fire that kills my parents. So like that sounds like witchcraft. She's like, what? Like you can tell the future, you witch, and like you spawn of Satan. Like, and oh my God. And that's when we get into the conversation about how she hates Claire and like, who are you? And like, she's like, oh my God, you are the spawn of a witch and I'm going to lock you up and I'm going to go call the cops on you basically and burn you at the stake for witchcraft. And
and she even tells her like, your mom should have died. And
yeah.
It's like, whoa.
She's like, wow. And then she just spouts back like, Jamie never loved you. And she's like, oh girl, like this is not the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see, she's like very riled up right now.
Yeah.
That's not helping.
Oh my God.
But I'm glad to see that Leary's daughter did not take after her in that sense.
Yeah.
That she is the one who ends up rescuing Brianna and telling her like, I'm
nice.
sorry.
They're sisters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sisters.
Yeah, I guess they kind of are. I mean, not by blood, but
sort of.
Well, no, because
like stepfather, like they're like stepsisters.
Yes, I guess it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because she basically recognizes that Brianna is a good person and whatever her mom believes about her or her family, whatever, doesn't matter, doesn't change that.
And I think she never really thought ill of like Claire and Jamie. I think she sort of like saw that differently than her mom. And also just like, oh, it's not your fault that your mom's a witch. Like, she just sees things more clearly, which is nice.
Yeah, it is.
And then we see another flashback of Frank and Brianna like having a conversation. And before that, there was another flashback about like him staying at the office and he was drinking and Brianna came in and was like, what's going on? And he's not telling her and he can't tell her. And he's like, I can't tell you. And there's like an obituary. And she's like, what's this for? And he just like, read it if you want. And she doesn't really read it. And he's like, I can't tell you. And then we have this other flashback where they're in the car and he's like, you know how I wanted you to study abroad? Like, go to England. I'm going to go to England. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're getting a divorce, your mother and I. And she does not take that very well. No. And my parents are divorced, and I wish that I had been told about it in that way because that scene was beautiful. Like, like it was written so well. Like, if you're ever going to be told that your parents are getting divorced, that is the best way for it to be told. Like, he nailed it. Like, Frank is a good father, and it's not even his biological child. It just shows you like what a good character he is. Yeah. And Brianna, like, kind of throws it back in his face and kind of blames him a little bit and like slams it around his face. And that's the last time she ever sees him. Yeah. Because he gets in a car accident and dies after that. Right.
And I think that's when we see that's when we kind of realize why we're seeing all these flashbacks throughout this episode. That's why she's thinking about her dad so much.
Yeah.
Going back and doing all of this stuff, it kind of just reminds her of like, oh yeah, like my dad I never really got that closure with him.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to find this new dad.
Yeah. And I think also she kind of sees it as like, this is something that Frank would have been like proud of her doing.
Yeah.
Like I think she just feels connected with him back in time.
Right. We also forgot to mention during one of the conversations she had with Leary, like Leary, when she finds out that she's Claire's daughter, one of the things Leary says to try to manipulate her is to basically say, oh, your dad actually, like what everyone's saying over at Lallybroch,
the gossip.
And it's a complete lie. But she basically just says, oh yeah, everyone basically says that your dad didn't want you. Yeah. And that's why he sent your mom away. And she's like, wait, really?
What?
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't turn you away when he sees you.
Right. So I think that's something, even though Brianna does, like learn that Leary is crazy and whatever, I think that's something that is going to just sit with her.
Yeah, of course.
And she's going to keep wondering now, like, oh.
It's probably going to come up in conversation when she sees Jamie.
Yeah. She's like, do you actually want me? Like, I think she has very complicated daddy issues.
She does, which is understandable. And she's also just a very emotional person. So everything kind of gets magnified that's happening to her, and what's happening to her is very intense.
It is.
So Roger is trying to board a ship, and that scene was so cool. He was like, I will pay you to go board your ship, and the captain is like, there's no room. And he's like,
hold on. First, let's say who the captain is.
Oh God.
So we see when he goes into this like tavern and finds, because he wants to get on the ship, and he goes and talks to the captain, and it's revealed the captain is none other than Stephen Bonnet, who is the
he's
villain.
A bad guy.
He's a pretty bad guy. The last time we saw him, he attacked Jamie and Claire and stole Claire's ring.
Yeah. And he like killed somebody.
Yeah, he killed one of their friends that was traveling with them, and then he just left
this is after they helped him, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of person he is.
Mm-hmm.
And
so knowing that,
so Roger's trying to board his ship to get to the Americas, and the captain is like, no, like I'm full, I don't need any more crew. And then he like looks at his hands. He's like, your hands are better suited for writing than for crewing. And he's like, darn it. And he goes and like picks up a barrel. He's like, where do you want this, captain? And it's just like, he's such a cool character. Like he's just resilient. And even the captain says like, I hope this girl's worth it. You know? And it's like, he kind of like, Roger like has a second where he's like, me too. But
I'm not really sure why I'm doing this anymore.
The captain flips a coin to see if he can come or not. And Roger's pretty lucky. He gets heads and he gets to go on the ship, and he gets paid to do it. So that's even better. Yeah. And but on the ship there's like an outbreak of smallpox, which is going around these days, and the captain tells Roger to throw a child overboard who has the smallpox, because like I get it, it's gonna spread and kill everyone before they even get to where they're going, but couldn't they have like quarantined her or like I don't know.
There are other ways to do it, which if you saw that episode from last season with Claire on the ship, she basically helps. That's kind of what she teaches them. She's like, actually, they need to be outside, you know, like on the deck, but also, they need to be quarantined, so no one should be near them. But you don't just throw them overboard. That's not going to solve it.
I feel like Roger could have said more there. Yeah. I feel like he could have, because he's immune to it, right? Like he's been vaccinated.
Should be,
yeah. So like he could be like, hey, like I've had it before or whatever, so I'm not going to catch it. Like let me take them to a quarantine space. I can take care of them. Like if one other person gets sick, throw them overboard. But let me try this. Like I think
honestly, he was in such shock though that's what the captain wanted to do. Like
I'm always waiting for him. Even when they were thrown overboard, I thought for a second, like because they did get thrown overboard, like Roger wouldn't do it, and then the captain throws the child overboard, and the mother jumps in after her, and Roger like goes and looks for them, and I thought for a split second that he was going to jump in.
I did too,
because Jamie would have.
Yeah, but then. Well, honestly, that would be
I get the logic of it, but I'm always waiting for Roger to like do that heroic thing, you know, like go a little bit further, like to what Jamie would have done.
That's
and
true.
He doesn't do it. So I want him to be good enough for Brianna, because I want somebody as good as Jamie for Brianna. And I hope that Roger gets
high stakes.
I hope Roger gets there. I think he will. He went back in time and is like risking his life to get to her.
He's on the journey.
But I think he could do those extra like crazy things to save somebody who isn't his love, somebody who he doesn't even know. Like that's Jamie qualities there, and I want that in him.
I honestly have a feeling that he's gonna do something like that when he's finally with Brianna.
I hope so.
That it's like she's gonna have to see him do it to kind of see like, oh, you are worth it. Okay.
Yeah. So Roger is a little freaked out by the captain now, and he goes and helps this woman who has a baby who has a rash, and they're basically throwing everyone overboard who has a rash. Yeah. And her baby has just a regular rash; it's not smallpox. And he learns that this baby is
basically that she and the baby are related to him. They're Mackenzies.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think that's why he takes a sudden interest in them. Like, I mean, he already did. He wanted to help them, but as soon as she says, like, I'm a Mackenzie, he's like, okay, like, I definitely have to help you.
So
like,
he hides them in, like, a pantry where all the food is, and that probably wasn't, maybe he didn't have many options, so that probably wasn't a great idea. Like, that's where people go to get food.
And so they're found by
the captain
Bonnet.
Yeah, and then he's sort of like, okay, we're going to flip again to see if you get to live or not. And he's like, do you have thumb double jointed? No. What did I do with my thumb? Did I do something weird?
No, I haven't done anything.
No.
No, sorry.
My arm is, though. Anyways.
Thanks, Martina, for joining us.
Random question. What were we saying? Oh, okay. So he finds them in the pantry. He's like, you're stealing rations. And he's like, don't kill them. Like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, no, not them. You. Like, you're the gentleman here who stole the food for them. I'm going to flip for your life. And he like tells this whole backstory of how his life had been flipped for at one point. And he like, do you believe in luck? And he got to live. And the person who flipped for his life gave him that coin. And that's what he uses. Challenge neck back.
I'm not sure what that means.
For 30 seconds. I don't.
I'm not sure, Martina, but we're currently talking about Outlander, if you watch that show.
Yes.
So
we're not doing a challenge right now. Sorry. But yeah, he gets to live. And then the guy was like, okay, cool. And he's cool with it. And the baby gets to live too. And Roger's like, thank God. He almost died. Anyway, so Brianna like makes her way to Lallybroch.
That's how we pronounce it here.
Yeah.
Which is the home of Jamie.
Yeah, and he sees like Ian's father, and that was pretty cool. And his father's like, hey, when you go to the Americas, can you tell Ian to write more? His mom wants him to.
Yeah, it was kind of sad that she didn't get to meet Jenny, because I feel like Jenny would really have loved to meet Brianna, just because she was very attached to Jamie, and she was really sad that Jamie and Claire left. So I think it would have meant a lot, but hopefully one day they'll all get to go back together to Scotland.
Yes, reunite.
Be a happy family, because that's always what happens in the show.
But she's really lucky that, But she's really lucky that she did get to find family, because they just took her right in and they gave her money to board a ship, and she just got all taken care of. And then she actually like brings a servant with her. So this man comes up to her and is like, can you please take my daughter as a servant on your voyage? And she's like, what the heck? No. I don't do servants. And the guy's like, well, she's going to be like sold and married off and like taken advantage of.
Like,
I don't want that.
Unless somebody else
buys her. And, you know, Brianna, like, I really thought she would research this time more, because like that was a normal thing back then. And she's just like, oh, don't do it then. It's like, well, he doesn't have a choice. But she does take the servant girl, and she goes with her, and they have this like sweet moment where the daughter of the father is saying goodbye, and he's like, don't forget to say your prayers. And she's like looking back at him. It's the last time she's probably gonna see her dad. And Brianna sees her father, like Frank. Like she sees a vision of him standing there, like saying goodbye to her.
Just like gave me chills.
And like it's a bittersweet for her, because she's smiling. She's kind of like, okay, he's here to see me off on my journey.
He's basically just like nodding at her, like, yeah, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and he kind of like sighs, like, I'm gonna miss you, but like, you know, you do you. But and so she is off. She walks away, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. It was pretty nice. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was really good, and I'm excited for Roger and Brianna to reunite.
Yes.
Now that
oh my gosh. Like on the next time on, we see like Roger's gonna meet Fergus. And
so more people from Jamie and Claire's story.
Brianna is gonna meet Mr. Bonnet, which is not good. And she's gonna see the ring and be like, where'd you get this? And that's not gonna be good for her.
No.
And like it kind of implies that like Roger hears Brianna.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. I'm wondering if that's actually gonna happen next episode, or if that was just like a little trick they did.
I don't know if it's like for real or not. But it hinted at that, so we'll see. Hopefully, I'm gonna be disappointed if not.
And then something with Murtaugh being, it looked like
tax trouble.
Yeah, it looked like Jamie was being asked to control him, so that's gonna be interesting confrontation.
Yeah,
we kind of knew that was coming. So.
I'm not as interested in like that whole thing. I'm like just really want to see like where Brianna and Roger's story goes. So hopefully we see more of that in next week's episode, and be sure to tune back in for that. We'll be live here. Oh, what's next Monday? Is that Christmas Eve? Are they even going to have an episode next week?
Oh, that's a good point.
We'll see you next time we go live.
We'll keep you guys updated. Now that we have our community posts, we will let you know when we're going live.
Yeah, check out the community posts. And make sure to like this video if you like Outlander. Leave us some comments below. We will read them and respond to them. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are always notified when we go live or post a new video.
And we also, for those of you that do like our reaction videos, we actually have a Patreon now where we are raising funds to continue doing that on a more consistent basis.
Yes.
So check out our Patreon. The link will be below.
Perfectly Serious Productions on Patreon. Thanks for getting serious with us, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Outlander.